that obviously affects digital marketing is that all these tools, whenever someone does do an update to a specific entity, say a browser window or a software that's running your website, well, everything that's associated with that faction has to also have an update and be updated. And so, we kind of have seen that in the past, and we look to the future, and we created this like a management program especially for websites, to make sure that your website is up to date, because with the abundance of websites that are out there, there's a lot more negative activity out there. People trying to get in, jump into your site, do some hacks. Doesn't matter how big or small your site is. There's always something that's trying to kind of gain access. But, our program there that we have, it's our website management program. We just make sure that everything is up to date, security wise, tool wise, and keeps it going.
Is one of your big fears, because we hear about it every day in the news about with the hacking. You just mentioned hacking.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you prevent that? I mean, are you running into hacking every week?
It's regular enough for us. We just cleaned up a client site just this week, actually, and just relocated them from one server source to another, and just to kind of make sure everything was up to date and everything was clean. Because one of the things that we're running into, especially with websites, is there's a level of server that you need to have. It's basically, I guess the medical terminology, which people wouldn't understand, is there's a certain PHP level, which is part of the server's capability of hosting a website. A lot of websites are on hosts that it's tapped out. It's maxed out to where you can go. It's like buying an old car from the 80s. There's no computer components to it compared to how it is today. So the technology is kind of ceased. And so what we're finding ourselves doing is taking sites from old hosts and putting them to new hosts to make sure that they're not getting hacked. So
that would be kind of related to the server being just inadequate.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. It's like, all right, I said the car analogy. It's more of a look at your iPhone.
Yeah.
It's
right.
there gets to a point where you can only do so many updates to that software, and you're not allowed to do anymore. And you have to go and spend another $1,000 for the little thing that you want to check Facebook on all day.
Right. Right.
So, wow. And that's basically what it is. There's when your website is on a host, especially nowadays, you want to make sure that it's a cPanel host. That's just a general rule of thumb that has the capability is over 7.0 PHP level. Just to throw that out, a little tidbit for you.
7.0.
7.0, not 5.6. 5.6 is going to get you in trouble eventually.
And that's going on right now with Windows and everything too, with what's compatible. I used to say back in the day, we used to work with McDonald's. We always said they were on Windows 92. Yeah. They were so far behind
and it
us.
was like 2016 at that point?
Yeah, actually, and it was 2003, 2004,
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, still, yeah.
I don't know. It was way behind.
Yes.
And I don't mean to throw McDonald's under the bus, because I do like the quarter pounder with cheese.
I think corporations, like anybody else, if they find a system that works, they don't want to diddle with it.
No,
and
absolutely.
It's working right now. And then, unfortunately right now will bleed into a 10-year time frame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, It goes so fast anyways,
yeah.
Especially down here in Florida.
Yeah. So we tend to deal with primarily with WordPress websites, and that they control over 35% of the website market share.
Okay.
Most sites that are out there are WordPress based. So you're going to have a more aggressive negative entity that's going to attack that WordPress based off of ease of, well, hey, we've got multiple millions of users on this source. Let's create something to go after that.
Well, okay. So not to really switch direction with you, but so what do you see as your biggest challenges right now? Like maybe, I don't mean to put, like if I said, what's your biggest 3 challenges, or what's your biggest challenge in the next year that you guys are kind of looking at going, well, we specifically aren't a hacking
entity.
I understand
So
that,
we're not a savior when it comes to hack. We do know how to clean up a site and get you at least cleaned up. There are softwares, there's companies out there that sell what's the stuff that comes with your laptops, McAfee or something like that.
Right.
So there are security
Built-in,
entities that you can take on your own site, but we primarily want to make sure that all of your software and your tools and your website is current, because that's the most important entity for us. That's what we make sure. Like, we take care of Martin County Business Exchange's website. So on a monthly basis, we are updating software or backing up the site so that if anything does slip in there, then at least we have a clean version of the site from the previous month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be said that some of the work you do, people don't see.
Absolutely.
Yes. A lot of behind the scenes work.
Yes.
No, it's always, you pick up the phone, you call it. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, my site isn't working. What happened? I'm selling Viagra all of a sudden. What's going on? That type of thing. And that's kind of the go-to is it's the pharmaceutical. They slip in there somehow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So, by the way, the website that Shane's referring to, which we'd love to have you go to, is McBiz.us, US. McBiz.us, which tells you all about the Martin County Business Exchange. We're in our 30 plus year and friendship networking, approximately 60 members.
Absolutely.
It's been as high as 75. We're always looking for another company that doesn't, we're single category type networking group. And I want to tell you, it's like family. And
absolutely.
We've recently added a lot of new members, and then we have people like Big Frank, who's been 17, 20 years.
I've lost track because I actually had two memberships. I had one under the paint part of my business, and then another membership through my picture frame shop. So I enjoyed two different memberships at the same time, which, that helps to tie up a category.
Well, and we have a lot of people who do switch companies and categories who are still there. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So it's like, man, how many times do you get to be a new member?
You've been a member
group for 6 years
6+ years, I'm assuming. Yeah.
It was like yesterday.
He used to be the newbie.
Now we've got quite a nice little cluster.
Now you're seasoned,
of a seasoned, I'm no longer a rookie.
Yeah. Sandy, you can send Sandy anytime. I know she's making sure the kids get off to school, and you drop them off because you got to make sure they're,
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And she enjoys her time there as well. I mean, it's, talking about the group, it's great having such a large cluster of quality businesses together. I mean, especially the vetting process in which we bring people into the group. It's not your quick stop, I'm going to try this group, and then all of a sudden you're not seeing these people anymore. Yeah. We make sure that the members are reputable, and the friendships they go beyond the meeting in the group. We see each other on the streets all the time.
Yeah. And we meet, what's great is we do meet every Wednesday morning, 7:00 at the Elks Lodge over on Canner near US 1. And, we have a nice networking period. We have a wonderful catered breakfast from Berry Fresh.
Yes.
And we're feeding the masses in there. And then we have one of our, in this case, for example, Shane is here, and he's spoke this morning and kind of updated us on his life and his work and his family and his future as a quarterback coach and football coach for his sons. Are they both playing?
They are both playing. Yep. Yeah. One's in high school and one Pop Warner just kicked off.
I can never keep track. And they're growing, the kid is going to be playing soon for
high school.
Yeah.
High school.
Get over that.
Yeah. He's up there at Jensen, right? Or are you
previously located at Jensen?
Okay.
We found ourselves at South Fork.
Okay.
Yeah. He's shifted. He was in Jensen through it's an academic program that they have there, which he kind of phased out. It was I forget what program. They call it like a CAP Academy or whatnot. I'm not sure what it is. So what he was interested in kind of pursuing, the next step was over at South Fork. So we gave him the opportunity to go over to South Fork, and he's trying out for football. And so far, so good.
Yeah, they got a good football team.
They do. It's a nice group there. Yeah. Just like Jensen. The same thing. It's sure. We have no animosity towards anyone, or he's having a good time, and it helps when you grow up in such a small county as we do, and we have 3 high schools that are literally 6 miles between each other.
Yeah.
That any high school that a kid goes to here, you're going to know a large group of kids.
Yep. And the kids know each other.
They know each other from whatever they've done in the past.
Right, the Pop Warner. And so the school rivalries, especially in sports, is just really cool because Martin County will play South Fork or Jensen Beach. And then afterwards, the kids all get together and they'll go out for pizza.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? Yeah. It's so cool.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 2 boys were Martin County, but they didn't play sports.
No.
Of course, now they wish they did. And I said, well, aren't you glad you can walk? So,
yeah. Hey, well, thanks a lot.
Unlike their father. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm a little gimp right now. I'm on a little scooter.
Now, do you think that that's associated through your youth?
You know, back in the day when Frank and I were young, I tell everybody that I have a foot and ankle situation. Good thing I had 2 feet and ankles because the other one was taken care of 4 years ago. But you know, our protection, I played a lot of basketball.
Okay, yeah.
And back then in the day, the killer it would be killer, were the Chucks.
Oh, yeah,
the
Chuck Taylors.
Converse.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no padding.
Nope.
You know, coach would say, oh, get to high tops this year. Oh, good. So when I twist my ankle.
No support. Nothing.
No support.
Yeah.
Slapping those things down.
They're great looking,
I think they are. They're cool. They're cool. You know, we had red, we had white, we had white sweaty
but
they were great.
The yellowish.
But you know, $9.95 a pair. So but anyways, so I think that today, yes, they're the sports, the events, look at when
sports safety has changed so much from when you and I were kids.
You know, you go home, put ice on it, soak it in Epsom salts, and
what do they tell you? Shake it off.
Yeah, shake it off.
Yeah, the concussion protocol back there was shake it off and get back out there.
And so over the years, you know, I'd be out maybe playing golf, be walking, just kind of twist my ankle, go down. Wow, look at that thing swell. Oh, look at it. I'll just keep walking, and it would swell down, and you just live with it. So, anyways, that could be part of it.
Hey,
slapping those feet down on the. Running those suicides and those those are great stuff. So we still throw up the same. It's great.
No, I know. And when you're young, that type of things, we recovered a lot quicker from it. You know,
you don't think about it.
You don't think about it, but
you're invincible.
Yeah,
right.
But you know, time tells different stories, I guess, as you get older.
So just another thing, because I do jump around. That's the type of person I am.
Yeah.
What sports do you play? Sports in high school?
I played sports before high school. I grew up in Rhode Island, so I played basketball for my school, for St. Teresa's elementary school.
Oh yes, St. Teresa's.
Or St. Teresa. It wasn't elementary. It was one of those schools that was K through 8.
Okay.
And I think while I was going there when I was young, it was K through 9, and they changed that right in midway. So I played when we were allowed 6th, 7th, and 8th grade basketball. 8th grade, I moved down here.
Okay.
And I went to Santa Lucia's high school. I didn't play any sports, but that's when living 5 to 10 minutes from the ocean kind of was like, hey, I surfed as well. Let me go surf it as much as I can. And that's kind of what ate me up in high school. But when I went to college, I played rugby for my school.
Wow.
For 2 seasons.
That's like the death sport, isn't it?
Well, there's a reason why. I mean, I went to college for 4 years. I only lasted 2 seasons in rugby. I got broken teeth and concussions, and it was a brutal sport. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed playing rugby. I was that guy on the edge who's
hard charging.
Yes. But that was just it. It was new to the sport. You needed some seasoning to at least embrace how to handle tackling without pads and the helmet and everything. The guys were great. It was a great experience, but I was sick of constantly breaking my teeth.
You know, we had some friends. We had some friends over one night, and we were flipping around, and the rugby came on, and somebody said, "What's that thing called?" I said, "I think that's called a scrum." And my wife says, "Well, what happens underneath there?" I said, "Who knows?"
Yeah, you got to.
That's why they call it a scrum.
Keep tabs of your bits and pieces. You know what I mean?
So it's kind of like in football, you never know what's going on underneath that pile.
Oh no, exactly. There's a couple of punches. I mean, even in the youth football, I'll have a kid come and run into the sidelines in tears, holding his gut. You know, it's someone threw a little punch in there at the end of the play, and it happens. You know, it's part of the brutality of the sport. But for some reason, there's kids who thoroughly love that brutality, and I guess.
Well, maybe they'll just play 2 years also.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, Well, I think we're beyond that.
Of course, now you got to be careful when you go surfing because all the news about the sharks.
Shark Week, baby. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I have a guy, my warehouse guy over at European Kitchen and Bath, Barrett, if you're listening, which I know you're not, but he came up the other day. He surfs every day on the North Jetty out of Fort Pierce. He's a surfer. He's crazy. And he says, oh, they're out there all the time. And he came in and showed me a video yesterday of the sharks, how close they were. It wasn't necessarily, it was taken somewhere.
Yeah.
But it showed the black tips.
Yeah.
And then it showed the hammerheads eating the black tips.
Yeah.
And they go right up and they're right there. So they're there. I'm not trying to freak people out.
It's when you live in Florida, you know that they're there. I've experienced sharks hundreds of times. It's not like one or two. I see them a lot.
Sure.
I mean, on a regular. If I don't see a spinner, it's rare. And spinners are usually catching them out in the back. They're, eating and whatnot. But yeah, sharks are very prevalent in our area, but it's nothing to be. I mean,
Sandy goes, "Hey, Shane, see who's out back? It's a spinner shark."
Yeah.
Oh, let me go look at him. Oh yeah, there he is eating the court. No, I mean you mean out back.
Not at Outback. Yeah. Well, we just plugged the restaurant there. But no, it's a common sight for surfers. And now that we're watching Shark Week, I just learned yesterday. I came in from who knows where, and the kids and Sandy were watching Shark Week, and they're like, "Do you know that over 50% of shark attacks happened to surfers?" Mm-hmm. Like, well, I can imagine.
Yeah, they mistake the surfer for like a walrus or a seal or something. Yeah.
I mean, we're fortunate because we've got a very clear ocean here,
right?
And so we're seeing a lot more New Smyrna. I mean, if you ever been to New Smyrna, it's salty chocolate milk up there. Yeah,
and that's the chomping capital of Florida,
bike capital of the world, I think. Yeah.
Well, so how they come into the sandbar area and all that.
Yeah.
I can only watch so much shark. I only watch when I see the thing on that says Florida. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hold on to your surfboard and your other all your website designs. We'll be back.
Pull the chum out of your pocket.
We're going to take a break here from the Martin County Business Exchange. John Campion and Frank Mezzapelle, your co-hosts, with Shane O'Brien from Tovo Design. We'll be right back.
All right.
Big John, Big John. Every morning at the mine you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245, kind of broad at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John.
All right. Yeah, that's for my buddy Big John.
Thanks.
Right here in the Big C.
Big Frank.
Yeah.
I'm not as big as I used to be. I used to weigh 245. I'm down to about 220.
Hey, so, congratulations.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's what happens when you quit drinking. God, that really stinks.
Permanently? Yeah.
I nip into it. And I like how my wife goes and grabs a beer and doesn't ask me if I want one.
Oh, man.
That's the sign that don't ask for one.
Don't ask for one. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But anyways, we're back to the Martin County Business Exchange Wednesday evening show. It's Big Frank on the board and John Campion right here with my raspy little voice. And of course, our guest today is Shane O'Brien from Tovo Design, our website and marketing genius. I was going to ask you, so who's in, you kind of, Sandy's in charge of all the hard stuff and you get to do all the easy stuff.
Yeah, I get all the pretty stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And that is the dynamic. It's Sandy, she, the simplest way that I can put it is Sandy's black and white. I'm the color guy. So I get to do handle most of the design or work with our designers. And she's the one that makes sure that, especially if it's digital, that digital source gets found online. So she's primarily the one that handles the search engine optimization or manages it. And the social media marketing, which that's one of our programs. We also have a program for social media marketing as well. That is starting to grow some feet.
And now is that including like the Twitter and the Pinterest and all that?
Yes,
like it's becoming.
It's
really
more
big.
of an entity for our clients. It kind of gives them some grasp with their audience, because your audience is mainly going to be sitting on social media. So we, if you came to us, we would figure out who, where your customer is sitting primarily, Facebook, Twitter, whatnot. And depending on the package, our base package is we post a couple of times a week for you to make it show that your Facebook is being touched or your Twitter is being touched on a regular basis. So it's information that's relevant to your business. It's personal things or not personal things. Let's just say things that are related to what your business does out in a societal type management. It's not always, hi, I'm John and I sell sinks. It's like, hi, I'm John, I support this specific cause, stuff that can kind of play on the emotional effect of a client.
One of the things I've been reading a lot about is the fact that with Facebook Facebook certainly is a great advertising tool.
Mm-hmm.
That when, let's say you, let's say you drive by, Billy Bob's sub shop.
Great subs.
Okay. Now, and they've got Billy Bob. Yeah. I could have said Forrest. No, but Gum Shrimp.
Gum Shrimps. Yeah.
But let's say you drive by there and they've got a very strong social media type thing.
Mm-hmm.
You get home and then something from their advertising pops up on your phone.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
That's been happening quite a bit, hasn't it?
So what's the deal with that? Can you explain it? Or is it just because it's like Big Brother's watching you?
There is a lot of
phone.
GPS tracking on your phone.
Yeah.
There's, on the way to the studio here, I passed a Starbucks. Well, I didn't notice, look at my phone, but if it didn't go off right now, it'll go off when I go by it. Again, there's a GPS. We all have GPS locators on our devices.
Mm-hmm.
It knows when you're in Target. It knows when you're, it can get down to the detail. The data that they can pull is, okay, what did Shane purchase when he went to Target?
Yeah.
And was he purchasing on a regular basis and based their target market towards that? Yeah.
I bought some razor blades at Publix, and then a while later, I've got a coupon emailed to me from Gillette.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Well, see, we've got one of those Google Homes, and my wife swears that whenever we're talking about, hey, where should we go get something to eat? Or, we need to buy, get this detergent. All of a sudden on TV, there's an ad for whatever the heck she was just talking about.
You've got the thing says, turn on the lights.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
And it's all over our house. I mean, we have them not just in the living room, we have them in bedrooms. So it's like occasionally you'll be sitting there and you'll see the little it's a color circle that lights up there going on. It's like no one said anything to get them activated. It's like Alexa. Alexa's the same way.
Sucking it in. It's reviewing its database.
So it's in that, and Google obviously its strength is in its search engine. And when you do a search based on your IP, on your phone, on your desktop or whatever, the IP address is basically the tracking of what device you utilized. Then, that's how they're retaining more and more data from us.
That's great.
They know a lot about Frank and a lot about Shane, a lot about John, a lot more than what we know of ourselves.
Right.
You have one of those at home?
No, thankfully.
Yeah, my oldest son, Sam, who will be 31 tomorrow.
Wow.
Born on 8/8 88.
Yeah.
Easy date to remember.
888.
But he
cool.
is, he's the technical guy, and they, it's everything. Turning lights, camera, action.
Oh, yeah.
And my brother too. And my brother had given me, I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, I gave it to Sam. So his house is all lit up.
Oh, I control my lights through my phone. And, I'm telling you, it helps. When we go upstairs, laying down in bed, it's like, oh, the outside lights are on. Turn the outside lights off. It's like, oh, the dining room light's on. Turn the dining room light off.
Well, my wife, when the lights are on in the bedroom and I'm in there, she goes, please turn them off.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
She just pulled the bulb eventually.
Yeah,
the
right.
lamps don't even turn on anymore.
Sorry, Dee Dee. That's funny. Well, it's great. So, well, I every day when I'm getting notices from Google on email about, there was X amount of, you were out there for 14, I'm trying to remember the exact thing. And I went in and looked at it, and I can see where perhaps I wish I could say, yeah, you were my web guy doing it, but I'm starting to see that more where they're putting out the stuff on there, telling about our company. And that's good because, I'm still in the belief that, 50 to 80% of the people walking into our store have already know what's going on. Yeah.
They know your products. They're specifically there for that Toto toilet,
We just give them the wrong model number or wrong finish. So when they order it online and it comes in chrome instead of brushed nickel, we've done our job.
Absolutely. Gets them back in.
Because they showroomed us,
Yeah.
But
we used to do that in our wallpaper books.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. People would come in, and because in the back of these magazines, they say, shop at your local store, get the product information, and we'll give you a good discount. Of course, we spend thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to get these catalogs, which we get to throw them away every year and buy new ones.
Yeah.
And so they go, okay. So the wallpaper manufacturers, they actually partnered up with the dealers, and they said, okay, so we actually had a conversion page. So the numbers listed on the page was not the correct number.
Wow.
And then we'd have to look at the reference for each page, for each book.
Huh.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
So that's the only way to get on top of it.
I totally understand. Well, there was a great article. We get the Wall Street Journal on Saturdays, and you can read the Wall Street Journal for 12 days. And by the time the next Saturday comes, I'm like, well, hell, I never finished this last. But anyways, there was a great article in there, and I've read about this before, of the retail stores, brick and mortar at some point down the road will sort of shadow off of what Best Buy did. And that was Best Buy. You could go online and look at it, or you could go into the store and look at it. And let's say you went online and ordered it after you saw it in the store. Well, it wasn't connected. Now what it is the manufacturers at some point will in fact pay to have their product in your store of whatever it is. And then what happens if somebody goes online to buy it, they will, you'll get credit for it, but and so will the manufacturer. It seems very convoluted, but what happens, let's say what you want is not in the store. Well, you order it and it gets shipped to you.
Yeah.
So in other words, you have no inventory, or you have very little. And if you do, the manufacturer owns it. And if it's sold, whether it's internet or in your store, not only do the manufacturer gets paid for it, but I guess you do too. It's a very, it's the new concept. There are going to be some test stores up in New York. I think Macy's is doing it. I have to send that article.
Interesting.
It's very, but I read about this years ago for our industry with what's the future of kitchen and bath in the brick and mortar versus the internet. Now, it's not as tragic as it seemed a few years ago, because a lot of people don't feel comfortable ordering, their shower system online.
Yeah, I would
unless you're
guess
really
they'd want to
good at
see
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they, and of course the nice thing too is we're an older demographic, and we know the people like to come in, touch it, feel it, and be taken care of.
Yes.
So a lot of different, outlying, inlying things that affect what you're doing. So, and that's the other thing too, Shane, is, I get so many solicitations from people all over the country trying to have me, get on our website. We'll maximize and get your search up, delete.
Yeah.
I could not imagine doing that, not locally.
It helps. I mean, we do some digital work with clients that aren't based here in even Florida, the state. It's so, but it does help, especially with the local businesses like what you operate here. You know, you have your location here, and then in Vero, having someone local to be able to manage your marketing in that essence, yeah, it's important because you have a different audience than what some audiences, you know, someone in Manhattan's going to have a different audience than what you have to deal with here in Martin County. Yes.
Yeah. Plus they get a lot of money, but they don't want to spend it here. We're going to take a quick break, huh, Frank?
Yes.
Frank's the brake man.
Right.
There he is, break dancing again.
All right.
Pumping the brakes. Yeah. We're not on ice in Detroit. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break from the Martin County Business Exchange Wednesday night show. We'll be right back with Shane O'Brien from Tovo Design. This is Frank and John show just today. Anyways, we'll be right back.
And now,
hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Back. You're listening to the Martin County Business Exchange Wednesday show. Yes, it is Wednesday.
It's Hump Day.
The Hump Day Golf Day edition of the golf show that follows this show.
James,
so stay tuned.
Does a great job.
Yep. Very good.
Good deal. Yeah. Hey, by the way, we found out Frank is going to Washington, D.C. We don't want too many people to know it.
Hey,
we don't want him to get robbed.
For the first time.
Yeah. That is just amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
never been.
I have. And you're going to be there for like 3 days, 4 days?
Yeah. Just a few days. Yeah.
There are definitely a couple of museums to hit.
Air and space. I got to do that.
Air and space. And I got to tell you, I
understand they have the moon landing exhibit there is supposed to be like out of
very
this
popular. That's something that
it's out of this world.
Oh, it's good.
Where's the snare, right?
Yeah. It's a lunar experience.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where Looney Tunes comes from.
That's you've never hit a 5-iron as far as you can hit one there.
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
Ask Alan Shepard.
It's a great experience. So we went up with the kids a few years ago, and unfortunately when we went, they were doing maintenance to the reflective pool. The
big pool.
Yeah, no water in it.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just it literally was a big sandbox. That's what it looked like. But just the history that's in that town. We did the Lincoln
Memorial.
Not the Lincoln Memorial. Well, we did the Lincoln Memorial, but we did Ford's Theater.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah. And so they did the reenactment, and they basically discussed the process there. It was really a neat thing because it's all. I mean, I'm sure that it's been updated over the years, but it's to whenever you see an image of it, that's what you were sitting in.
Frank, what the coolest thing is about all the museums and everything up there? They're free.
They're all free.
Well, you know, my motto, if it's free, it's for me.
Okay. All right.
go.
And, you know, my favorite place there, now I lived in Richmond. We didn't live far from there, but I'd been there when all the different places we lived, is the Museum of American History.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to see stuff, you're going to go, man, I am old. Look at that.
Yeah.
I used to have that that used to be one of my toys, or
Yeah.
I used to ride one of those, a Schwinn. So anyways, if you get a chance,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
that's a good place too.
Cool.
But totally into the, into the Smithsonian, NASA and all that. And then if they got the moon thing, absolutely. And just throw a footnote in there. I went to Allen B. Shepherd Junior High when I lived in Deerfield, Illinois.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that was 1969.
Wow.
Nice.
69.
69.
I was negative 4 years old.
And that was 69 that actually I think it was Shepard was later.
Yeah.
He wasn't the first.
No, he was Apollo 14.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was later. So the school I went there in 69
Mhm.
because I switched from Catholic school to public.
That was a big change.
And
I
then-
did the same thing.
Yeah. And that was 6th grade. And then 70, we moved over to Michigan and I became all public.
I actually ran into Alan Shepard at the Canaveral. I went to see Apollo 16, and he was coming out of a motel with a Hollywood personality,
Oh.
and
For just interviewing purposes, I'm sure.
we were all there to see the space launch.
You were
And,
so kind to him.
yes,
That's nice.
yeah,
She was a starlet.
yes.
It doesn't matter. I'm sorry. I'm bad. What was her name? No. That's pretty cool.
It was
Yeah.
cool. It was very cool. And they posed for a picture, and but it was a great experience. I actually had a chance to chat with them, and because everybody was all filtering out of where they were staying to see the launch.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it was very, very cool. But
Well, that's-
really gracious people, just amazing.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, wow, serious. Talk about the right stuff.
well,
Yeah.
You got all the good things to say there, right? Yeah. No, it is really amazing when you think these guys sitting in this little thing on top of the rocket going to, I mean, how the
Oh, you're sitting on a missile.
Yeah.
You're basically
Yeah.
sitting on a missile,
Right. It's a controlled explosion.
Yep.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
pushing you to a destination you have no idea if you're going to be coming back from, or even if you're going to be making it out.
The Apollo 11 astronauts were under the notion they had a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. I can imagine, huh?
And they crawled into that puppy just the same.
wow.
Yeah.
That's not, it
Some
takes guts.
brave,
Right?
brave.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And people really don't give them that much credit for that. It's people, oh yeah, they just been up and no, we've seen it enough at this point now. I mean, the technology with what we've seen with the shuttles and
Right.
whatnot,
Right.
it is not a guarantee.
No.
Yeah, and they say like a smartphone has all the computer technology they had on some of those first launches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were rooms of computers,
Right, right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just it's nuts. It's not even the space shuttle had 70s era
Mhm.
computer stuff. The before they retired the shuttles, the last few shuttle flights, the astronauts brought aboard their own laptops because they were more powerful than the onboard
Wow.
computers, and they actually had buying staff, purchasing agents for NASA would scour the world for computer components so they can keep those shuttles
No kidding.
active.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys could go in there at work, have
Yeah.
somebody hack the North Koreans on their short range missiles so they go over to Iraq.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you
We're
go.
shooting over to Iraq right now. That came from Sandy O'Brien from Tovo in Martin County.
Yeah. You never hear of a positive hack out there, do you?
No.
No.
You know what I
No.
mean? It's
Yeah,
always
very
it's
seldom.
always
Yeah, there was
negative.
a nice one delivered the other night. 100,000 Capital One customers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Social
Yeah.
security numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, it's a crazy world we live in. And, there's plenty of bad guys out there.
Oh yeah. There always will be, unfortunately.
So as you guys forge forward, what are you in about your, you've been up here for about 10 years, your business?
What are we into? It's 2019. Yeah, the business started in 2011. So this is our 8th year up here in Martin County. I've been doing this since I was 30, so 16 years on my own. And I've been blessed to continue working with a lot of those clients from 16
That's
years
great.
ago. So yeah,
Well, you did something right there.
and that's where we, that's kind of what we focus on as well, is making sure that the people that we're working with, you develop these relationships with them. Obviously, everyone starts out as a client, we're a client vendor relationship, but the more success they have, the more success we have, and it builds a strong relationship between the two of us. So it's a nice entity to have.
So what's interesting, are your two boys digital natives?
No.
They just
My two boys, it's football. Well, they're digital when it comes to checking out YouTube and then going on the video game machines. They know how to Fortnite and do all that other business. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we were watching.
How about that kid that won how many millions of dollars?
$3 million, 16-year-old kid.
What was that for?
It's a
this
tournament.
game.
I saw gaming.
Yep, it's a Fortnite tournament. I don't know the specifics. I just know that a 16-year-old kid run, and then basically second place got like 1.8 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's big.
And I
business.
thought it was just a measurement of time.
I'm not sure.
Fortnite is a British term, and it means 2 weeks.
It's a fortnight. Yeah. No,
Is that how long the tournament went on?
no,
it
that's-
was
just the name of
it's
the-
just the name of the
but
game.
they named the game after a period of time.
Crazy.
I've played it. It's basically you go into an arena and you go in with 100 people. It's like Hunger Games.
Mhm.
You go into an arena, you loot, you find guns, whatever, energy, whatever.
Open pillage.
Yes, you do. You go through these little things and pillage, and you could either go where a lot of people are going and die quickly, or go off out on the edge and just work your way towards the carnage. And hopefully there's one survivor at the end and you're it. And I can tell you by watching my kids that hardly ever happens.
That's funny.
Yeah. And
That's
basically
funny.
all I'm
Fortnite.
getting from Fortnite is it increases the level of frustration from our youth today, because all they do is they're getting angry because
That's
someone
funny.
sniped them in the back of the head or something.
So we were watching last night on TV. There was the we're down to just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was good. We talked about a lot. Oh, we're done.
Down to the last minute.
We're done. Okay.
He heard the story that was starting. So
I'll tell you about it later. But anyways, hey,
You can tell it in a minute or less.
nah, I can't. I can't tell anything in a
can't do
minute
that,
or less.
You'll have to come back.
At my house, everybody pulls their ear when I've been talking too long.
Really?
So, yeah.
All right.
So, anyways,
Like
we're
long earlobes.
You'll never get that here.
I never had Shane give us his website
Yeah, let's do
address.
that.
Oh, it's tovodesign.com,
TOVO.
tovodesign.com, and phone number, it's area code 772-232-6450.
Let's do that phone number one more time.
772-232-6450.
Or you can go check them out on McBiz.us.
Absolutely.
And this is the Wednesday night show, Martin County Business Exchange. Frank, have a great time
Thank you.
when you come back from DC.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Bye.